Hi girls, today we are gonna sew the Teresa's cardigan. This pattern is made with sweatshirt fabric. It comes in 3 different lengths. This is the shortest one. It has 3 buttons, 1 patch pocket on each side. The neckline is finished with an interfacing and it has a drop shoulder, straight sleeve with a hem of 4 centimeters. We start by taking the back panel of the cardigan and place it with the right side of the fabric facing up. Now you take the front parts and facing the right sides of the fabric together, you match the shoulders and you pin them like this. Now you sew them together with a straight stitching. And you pass the overlock in case you need it. Next step will be placing the sleeve. So you match the notch of the sleeve to the seam of the shoulder and you pin it. And then you have to match both endings, the end of the sleeve and the end of the armhole. You do the same on the other side. Now you continue pinning all the sleeve so it matches to the measure of the armhole. We will do the same on the other side. Sew them together at 1 centimeter. Now it's time to close the sides of the cardigan. So you have to make sure that both seams match. Pin it and now match the side of the cardigan with a notch. And now the sleeve, where you also have 2 notches. You do the same on the other side. Now we sew both parts together at 1 centimeter. Now the main part is done. We will prepare the inner facings. So we take the front inner facings. They have interfacing, both of them. The same with the back inner facing. They all have a quite light interfacing is really useful for this part. We pin the shoulders together, matching right sides of the fabric. And we sew this part at 1 centimeter. Once this is done, we take the cardigan and we place the inner facing on top. We have to match the corner, we have to match the shoulder seams. And pin it. Make sure the seams are open and the shoulder seam of the cardigan goes backwards. We sew this part at 1 centimeter. So in the next step, we will skip the corners. Okay, so we have to do a small stitching here on top of the inner facing, and we have to make sure that the seam allowances goes towards the inner facing. I'm just gonna put 2 pins on each side of the corner just to remind myself to not do this part. We will do the same on both sides. So yes, we do a stitching at 0.3 centimeters approx from the seam. We skip the corners and we continue. So you have to be careful that when you do this, the seam allowances are underneath of the inner facing. So this is done. Now we have to decide what we want to do with the edge of the inner facings. Make sure that the seams are open, and I will do the overlock, but you can also finish it with a piping, or you can also fold 1 centimeter inwards. Now you fold the bottom of the inner facing towards the outside, and you mark a line at 5 centimeters. You pin it so it doesn't move, and you do the same on the other side. Fold the inner facing inside out. Mark a line at 5 centimeters. Sew it with a straight stitching. And now cut the extra fabric. Now you fold the corners inwards. And you pin the hem like this. You fold 1 centimeter inwards. And then you make sure that you have a hem of 4 centimeters. And now you continue pinning the inner facing. You have to make sure that it's flat and it looks nice from the outside. And now we will do a final stitching. This stitching must be made on the outside of the jacket. So what I do is I take a sellotape, but you can also use a magnet, and I mark the distance . Now I turn the cardigan and I start to make the stitching. So you have to make the bottom of the jacket match the sellotape. Like this, you will always go straight. Now we prepare the bottom of the sleeves. The hem is 6 centimeters, so we have to mark the double of that, so it's 12 centimeters. I use a fabric pen, but you can also use a chalk. In this design, I've decided that I wanted the hems to be quite big, so it looks very nice. We have to match the end of the sleeve to the little lines we've made with a fabric pen, and once this is done, we fold 1 centimeter inwards. We pin it, we do the same with the other sleeve, and same as before, I use the sellotape to mark the distance that I have to follow, and I make stitching on the outside of the cardigan. So now the cardigan is done. We will now do the pockets. We will have to add interlining all around the pockets. And now we will fold the top part where the notches are. We will pin it like this. And now we will sew them at 1 centimeter with a straight stitching. We will clip the corners and now fold it inside out. Next step will be folding 1 centimeter You will also have to pin where the top part stitching will be. Do the same in both pockets. And now we'll do the same as before. We will mark with the sellotape the distance in where we will have to do the stitching. Okay, this stitching goes to the top part of the pocket where the opening will be. Now we will hand stitch the centimeter we folded before, so we can remove the pins. Now take the cardigan and place the pockets on top depending on the length of the cardigan. the pockets will be in one place or another. Make sure both pockets are even. You pin them like this, and now we will sew them with a straight stitching. Okay. I'm doing this stitching at 0.3 approx to the edge. And now the cardigan is done. Next step will be doing the buttonholes. Depending on the length, you will need 3 or 4 buttons. I hope you like it, and see you in my next video.